Good morning. I think we are already live. Good morning to all of you. Welcome to our 7th episode of our Loops webinar series 3.0. My name is Aime Forcade. I'm the Senior Manager at Delta, an international research center dedicated to circular economy. And today I have the pleasure of having a special edition for our Loops webinar. It is a special edition because it has been co-organized by Delta and Eurada, which is the European Association of Development Agencies. With me, I have Nora, which I will, in a second, introduce properly, and she will have the honor of introducing the Loop cluster. Before I would like to take just a few seconds to thank all of our guest speakers for taking the time to be here and exchanging their own experiences regarding the implementation of their projects. Very briefly, what is Loops about? Loops is a series of webinars dedicated to showcasing best practices, results, and sometimes challenges, mainly challenges, and how our European funded projects overcome these challenges. For today's episode, we will have a main focus, which is engagement. Engagement, as we all know, is crucial for the correct and successful implementation of the proposed systemic solutions. But now I will briefly introduce our guest speakers, thanking them again for being here. As I said, I have Nora Scantamburlo from Eurada. Welcome, Nora. Thank you for being here. And she is a coordinating agent for the Loop cluster, which is mainly conformed by 4 sister projects under the same umbrella program, Horizon 2020. With us, we also have Jana Wegner. Hello, Jana, welcome. She is a researcher at the Center for Environmental Management, Resources and Energy at the Ruhr University Bochum. She's with us today representing the project Circular Foam as Work Package Coordinator, focusing on regional transformation, cooperation, and of course, stakeholder engagement. Welcome again, Jana. Thank you for being here. We also have Pietro De Martino, who works at Filse. I understand Pixel is a technical supporting entity supporting the development in the Ligurian region in Italy. And Pietro will be with us today representing the project EcoeFISHent. And he is, of course, the coordinating partner, the leading partner. We have also with us Ron Weirmeister. Ron is the Senior Management of P&O Consultants, and he's here representing Hubs for Circularity, an important network of stakeholders that represents all the circularity ecosystem and also key enabler, key accelerator for regional industrial upscaling. Welcome, Ron. Thank you for being here. We also have with us Aran Blanco. Aran Blanco is a scientific researcher at the international consultancy agency K. Veloce. Hello, Aran. Welcome. And I'm glad to see you here again. And she is the leader of public engagement activities for the project Agro2Circular. Agnieszka Laskowska. She is our partner and responsible for internationalization and cooperation and development projects. She is our partner in Opus Center and responsible for the educational activities and engagement activities within the project FRONTSH1P. Thank you and welcome, Agnieszka, again. And last but not least, we have Jan Winarski. He's a public policy consultant at EcoeFISHent. He's the contact point for all Horizon funded Circular Cities and Regions Initiative, CCRI, as we all know, related projects, and team member of the CCRI Coordination and Support Office. Hello, Jan. Thank you for being here as well. So before I give the floor to Nora for the proper introduction of the Loop cluster, I would like to remind to all of you and mainly to the ones that are following us online for the first time, what is the episode's focus today. As I already said, will be engagement, but I will now briefly introduce the agenda. For this reason, today we have tried to cover the whole, I would say, the whole engagement stakeholders. So we have divided the agenda into 2 blocks. The first block, following the cluster introduction by Eurada, will be represented by the 2 projects, Circular Foam and EcoeFISHent. During these presentations, the focus will be on industrial and private sector stakeholder engagement. Their presentation will be then followed by the presentation for Hubs for Circularity by Ron Wilmister. And then we will open the floor for the first round of discussions and Q&A. For that, I will have a member of my team, Mattia Bossoni, which I will introduce in a little bit, to help me with some of the questions. I hope that it will be a profitable exchange among all our guests, and maybe also from the audience as well. The second part of our episode today will be represented by the other 2 sister projects, Agro2Circular and FRONTSH1P. This part of the episode will mainly focus in citizens engagement, also regional and public sector engagement. As I said, it will be, it is important to cover the whole range of stakeholders, which, as we know, are key for the successful implementation of circular economy projects. At the end of their presentation, we will enjoy the presentation from the representative of Circular Cities and Regions Coordination and Supporting Office, Jan Winarski. And at the last time of the episode, we will conclude it with another round of open discussions and questions. I hope we are all charged. I hope you enjoy today's episode. And without further ado, I will give the floor to my colleague, Nora Scantamburlo from Eurada, for the proper presentation of the cluster. Nora, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Amy, for the presentation, and good morning, everyone. Yes, I have the honor today to give a brief introduction of the Loop cluster before then leaving the floor to the actual projects like composing this cluster. So moving to the next slide, Loop cluster came to life as a joint and bottom-up initiative of the 4 sisters project that you can see here displayed, Agro2Circular, Circular Foam, EcoeFISHent, and FRONTSH1P, all funded under the same Horizon 2020 Green Deal call, which aims to demonstrate systemic solutions for the territorial deployment of circular economy in different European regions and in their further application and replication. Together, these 4 projects combine 137 partners and represent a total funding volume of more than 61 million euro. The idea was that the proposal funded under this topic were supposed to form part of the demonstration projects for the implementation of the Circular Cities and Region Initiatives, CCRI, of the European Commission, which is here represented by Jan, and that must also be carried out in close cooperation and coordination with it. The transition to a more circular economy and application of a new circular approach, which is kind of revolutionizing in a way the key economic sectors, are actually the solution to the obsolete take, make, and dispose model. And in order to overcome this idea and embrace the reuse, repair, and recycle one, the Loop cluster has been set up. So moving on, please. Thank you. Given the challenges connected to the transition towards the circular economy, the 4 projects recognize that working together at the European level and going beyond the individual objectives would have taken the expected impact and outcome to a new level. And for this reason, regular exchanges and a deep cooperation among them seem to be the natural path to follow, basically. The first time that the Loop initiatives came together was May 2022, and it's explained in the next slide, please. And this happened in the framework of the FRONTSH1P General Assembly in Genoa, thanks to an idea of the technical coordinator of the FRONTSH1P project, which is here represented by Agnieszka. As you can imagine, in addition to the regular internal alignment meeting, 2 events per year have been organized since 2022, usually following like 1 physical and 1 online event per year. The 2 online webinars in the framework of the EU Circular Week in 2023 and others in occasion of the EU Green Week this year are just 2 examples of the loop commitment and the willingness of the partners to actually come together and make the difference. As we know, the European regions are crucial drivers for the implementation of circular ecosystems and value chains. And this is the reason why, in a certain sense, the cluster is now working on a common manifesto to be disseminated on behalf of the 4 projects. As you can imagine, the idea is to identify common key messages and policy recommendations that are coming from the experience of the pilot and the replication regions to promote the implementation of circular solutions that, for example, reduce waste, enhance the value of materials, promote sustainability at territorial level, and so on and so forth. So, concluding this brief introduction, the Loop Cluster is an ambitious initiative that relies on the effort and the work of individual projects and individual partners. So I really would like to thank the speakers that are here today representing and presenting to the audience the results of our common work. So thank you so much, everyone, for your attention. This was a just brief introduction of the Loop Cluster, and you will hear way more from our partners after me. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jana Wegener, and I am here to introduce the activities in terms of stakeholder engagement in the Circular Foam project. For those who are not familiar yet with the Circular Foam project, it stands for Systemic Expansion of Territorial Circular Ecosystems for End-of-Life Foam. And our aim is to develop and demonstrate all technological steps that are required to achieve circularity of plastics in post-consumer applications. And we are looking at 2 value chains here. We are looking at rigid polyurethane foams used as insulation in both refrigerators and construction materials such as insulation boards and sandwich panels, which are cased in metal. Of course, for a circular system, we need a lot of different levels of collaboration to work together. First, of course, we need a recycling technology that works and that makes it possible to recycle the material. But also we need to collect and sort the material beforehand, and that requires a lot of effort in terms of reverse logistics, while we also need it to be economically feasible, and also it needs to have a positive life cycle assessment. But what we can also see here is a layer that's called regional transformation, and that is what I am concerned with within this project context. So we are aiming for a system development for regional application, and we are looking at 3 pilot regions within this project. That's North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and Upper Silesia in Poland. And the goal here is to develop regional socio-technical ecosystems and concepts that are also transferable to further regions. So we're looking at synergies here so that we can also develop roadmaps for the implementation of regional transformation strategies. And as I've said, my main focus is the regional transformation, also cooperation and stakeholder engagement. And what we are doing is, in the first step, to develop analytical foundations and knowledge to create regional clusters of stakeholders, and then to develop a sustainable transformation pathway for regional circularity that includes strategic elements, collaboration processes, and also regional characteristics. And here I would like to show what does it mean exactly, what steps are included. So in the first step, we conducted a regional analysis and a stakeholder analysis. So we looked at the status quo and asked how well positioned are the regions for a circular system with regard to the plastics. The second step, we looked at systemic relations and interdependencies. So we looked at how the different factors and aspects in the system work together and influence each other. And then going from the status quo, we are looking at future perspectives. So we are developing scenarios together with stakeholders to sketch possible future developments to be prepared. And the fourth step will be the transfer. So to develop a roadmap for sustainable transformation pathways for regional circularity. I will briefly show how we have approached these steps so far. And as I've mentioned, the first step was the regional analysis, where we assessed the so-called readiness of the regions to introduce PU circular solutions. And the other element was to identify regional stakeholders that are important for establishing hubs for circularity and to describe their influences and interest or their positioning in our research field. And the stakeholder engagement here was based on qualitative field interviews with stakeholders from different fields that we identified, and we also included a site visit at a disposal center that you see here. And another component of this analysis was a consumer survey that had two elements. There's one quantitative element, an online survey with a large sample size, and a qualitative element with a focus group study that looks at attitudes and preferences of consumers in small groups, assuming that also consumers are a type of a stakeholder in the system, of course, if we think about who buys the refrigerator in the end and related topics. Then we looked at systemic relations and interdependencies by employing a method called fuzzy cognitive mapping. What that looks like or what the interface looks like, you can see below here. And the research questions included looking at main influencing factors or obstacles in the introduction of a circular system for a PU from refrigerators and the influence on each other. And also, what are the implications of possible policy scenarios? And this entailed 28 interviews with different interview partners in the 3 regions from the fields of academia, government, and also industry. So now we're going towards future perspectives, and that is what we are currently working on. So I will show a few more slides on this topic. Here we are employing a method called qualitative participative scenario analysis, and we have invited various stakeholders to take part in workshops to discuss the future of plastics recycling, more exactly a sustainable circular system for high performance plastics. And these workshops serve to identify possible future developments that could help or hinder the project goals. So here we have a small group of around 20 people from different backgrounds, also academia, municipalities, industry, and associations that are involved here. And we have 2 levels of goals that we want to reach with this workshop series. So we have on the methodology level, we would like to develop 4 to 6 possible scenarios for the future of plastics recycling up to 2050. So that's going to be the result. And that means that we want to create a vision of the future, and by that generate orientation knowledge for current action. So use these scenarios as a tool for making better strategic decisions today. And we have chosen the scenario technique because it offers a structured methodology with an explorative function. So it's not based on calculating or predicting, but it's explorative in the sense of systematizing implicit understanding of the group that we have about today's developments, conditions, and influences, and also giving us the opportunity to uncover the limits of our knowledge, so uncertainties, dilemmas, and so on. Our goals on the engagement level mean that we use scenarios as a thinking and communication tool. So our goal is to engage stakeholders in a conversation and also reach a certain degree of joint commitment, where the process is at least as important as the result. So the learning process of the scenario group, that also includes us as the hosts, of course, and as the project team, is in the foreground, and we gain new perspectives and a holistic view through the inclusion of these different backgrounds of stakeholders. This also gives us room for creative new ideas, and we also want to make clear that there are no right or wrong scenarios, but the process is about what the group agrees on, what they find plausible. So one of these workshops has already taken place, and there are many more to follow because similar workshops are planned in all 3 regions, and that allows for a regional comparison. So we can look at similarities and differences in the results afterwards. And the step that follows is the so-called scenario transfer. So we have the level of communication, which means condensating the results into a holistic picture of the future in the form, for example, of a story or a simulation or visualization like we see here below in the example. And the second level is the scenario evaluation, which means an impact assessment and development of strategies. So we can ask questions about the desirability of the scenarios that were developed, positive and negative aspects. We can conduct impact analyses, so what opportunities and risks are associated with the situation depicted in the scenarios. And we can also look at what do these mean for individual actors or actor constellations. And of course, we can also develop options for action and derive a strategy. So what can we do, and what levers do we have at our hands? So we are currently in the middle of this process of scenario analysis, but so far we have the impression that's a useful tool and to gain valuable results and engage stakeholders in a conversation, in discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you for your great presentation. I am really, really excited because I have actually learned a lot from your presentation. The systematization of the process that you're trying to implement for the engagement is something innovative, I would say. And at the same time, the fact that you are learning by doing, you are exchanging with your stakeholders through a participatory workshops. So it's active, it's live, and you are also correcting whenever something is not functioning or can be improved. You are immediately corrected. So this is, in my opinion, a very innovative and effective way of engaging with our stakeholders. Thank you again. I will now give the floor to the second project, EcoeFISHent. Pietro De Martino, the floor is yours.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Carmen. It's, well, I will go through my presentation in just summarizing for those who didn't know yet what is EcoeFISHent. And basically, I will concentrate my speech on the involvement of the industrial sector, which is, of course, the really strategical for the success of EcoeFISHent, which is quite huge project, 34 partners from 7 countries, but mainly are all the partners are located in Italy, Liguria region, between Liguria, Piemonte, and Lombardia, with which this fact is not occasionally, but it has been planned since the beginning in order to create an effective and working and implementing industrial cluster, based on 6 different value chain, which is the challenge of this project. Is the difficulties, the challenge is to create, a cluster, a sustainable, replicable cluster based on different value chain, altogether integrated with a multi-level concept integration. So the goals is, of course, it's working on the fish sector. The goal is not to have any more waste from the fish, and it's I think one of the strong points of this the project and the partnership composition is the public coordination of the project. Besides the fact that it's that the final output of the project will be industrial, so private results in the market. So it's Filse, which is the leader of this partnership, is the financial and the agency, economical development agency of Liguria region. And despite we do not had before technical research experience in circular process, circular economy, we are having a strategical positioning within the partnership in order to organize, in order to manage, in order to converge all the different points of the different stakeholder which we are involving, both the partnership itself, but even all the external stakeholder which day by day are linking with our program or with projects. And it's, if you can see on the map, it's, well, the consortium it's balanced. You can see there is a lot of industrial company partners, mainly of course in the fish industry sector, from aquaculture company to process transforming company, and we have a logistic company within logistics is one of the key area in this circular program, and of course all these industrial are linked together and mixed with the research. Most relevant research actors in our region and in the region belonging to this partnership. One extra EU country, which is Kenya, which is will be relevant in the next months for the replicability of the model, which we are going to demonstrate in the next following months. And just to let you know the timeline where we are now, it's we started 2 years and a half ago, and now we are just in the middle. We are building the pilots. Each single value chain will have one referring pilot unit, and which have been commissioned, are under developing. Some industrial pilot are quite ready, and someone are in the process to be developed. And we are going from pilots ranging from, for example, for extraction of bioactives and gelatin from fish mainstream, of course. Someone is related more with plastic, with biomaterials, biofilm materials, and someone is more linked with lava bioconversion, with a new solution from one very important partner, which is from Bulgaria. Nasecomo is one of the top innovative startups linked with lava bioconversion techniques. So, and this is what we expect to have to reach in the last side of the project, with a new kind of product, a new kind of bioproducts, fertilizer, keting, oil from fish mainstream, new kind of food supplements, new kind of materials for fish grades, for example, and of course even some parallel activity linked with for recycle of lost gear, for example, and provide a new byproduct for the automotive industry as well. These are just the six, very summarizing the 6 values chain. So we move from fish to food, from fish to soil improver, cosmetics, nets, from fish to pack. So 6 value chains all linked together. So it's, and the main, for just to let you know how many actors are involved just in each single value chain. For example, we have the producer of the pre-processing pilot unit with the Themis, based in Lombardia, and this value chain will link together aquaculture, fishermonger, fisher, big distributors of raw materials, and then of course even a company like JM, which is an ROC, which are leading company at the regional level in deal with mainstream on one hand, and even into even on treatment now for of hazardous and not hazardous waste. So other example, it's fish to pack. We link together University of Genova, Themis, and a company like SAES, which is an advanced and functional materials group responsible for bioplastic products and for food packaging. And so it's the process will be that from thanks to the Themis machine, which is has been produced just for EcoeFISHent, we'll get fish powered, the extraction and purification action led by university. We will have the capacity to exploit into food supplement, cosmetic, and bio-based polymers. Blood breeding plant is another technique, another plants, and with challenge to have as a new bioproduct is insect oil or biodiesel. And this is another example how it's all, even the city of Genova is involved, because all these power plants will be mainly located within the port area, so which is perfectly located within the city. So all the actors are around, live around the port, and are interested in collaborating this circular process. Just to give you an example how complicated is the matrix of the actors with whom we are working. It's we have a horizontal link, we have a vertical link, and institutional connection. Of course, the horizontal, vertical are more related with the industrial exploitation and the product development, And you can see we have from the final product manufacturing is our different, of course, manufacturers selected, but of course they are linked on vertical, and we work to link them and exchange practice, and especially exchange data for markets and capacity, development capacity. And then it's we have a different the role of the institutional connection are fundamental. The local authorities, I have already said how it's important to have a lead partner and an economic development agency, because we, during this first 2 years and a half, and as much we are going inside the process, as much as we face problem linked with, for example, regulatory issues, and we try to understand the barriers, the regulatory barriers. We have the problem that manufacturing and research, and how when we link research activity with industrial activity, how it's now today, it's very difficult, and to translate the existing rule into an effective way of processing, which is quite impossible. It's now we are working on, for example, new definition of bioproducts, and try to lobby and to try to change the existing definition, which is missing, which is preventing, for example, to work with the fish mainstream at production level instead of only at research level. So this is a very key role that we are play as a public institution in order to support the private sector to comply with existing regulation and so on. But this is just an example. What is the strategy now? We're just coming into the stakeholder involvement and the industrial stakeholder involvement and the strategy, which is at base of this project. Is of course, as I said, it's to we work on one limited territory, basically, Piemonte, Liguria, Madeira. We have collected the main public entity working with raw material treatment and public one, and we had involved since the beginning the main important industrial actor in the fish sector, and with the 6 value chain. The aim is to create a circular economy action plan, which will take in consideration all the 6 value chains together, all the actors together. We are in the process to verify all the linkage, and not only in terms of technical and research point of view, which is the process that are undergoing, but it's even we are working even to create this model in order to be replicable and sustainable even in other regions. How to do that? For example, it's one of the partners is leading the construction of a digital twin, which will be based on different indicators, analytic indicators, which economic indicators, framework indicators. So it's which might able to demonstrate if one region will be far or not far from the perfect situation of that EcoeFISHent has demonstrated in order to develop the circular solution that we would like to demonstrate. So, and this is very challenging, and we will try to base our cluster models on with this cluster digital twin, and we bring the data in other contexts together with other instruments that, like, for example, financial platform, a new financial platform, where we are we would like to study new financial solution supporting these circular values, this systematic 6 value chains working together, which is, I think, is the main point of view of interest of the industrial stakeholders. So it's in the last part of the project, the cluster will be demonstrated both in Kenya and even in Spain, where we have the other strong research industrial partner. And thanks to this cluster digital twin, we will be able to demonstrate the replicability of the project. Of course, is the model itself, all the 6 value chains together will be supportive to engage both other public and other private industry, other private stakeholders. I think it's let me adjust. Something is missing. Okay, sorry, it's okay. It's I'm just saying that it's this digital twin will be basically fundamental to engage, to have on board other public and private. Regarding the private, what we are doing for each single value chain is a business plan development. So we are developing 6 value chain. Accordingly, the profitability point of view of the value chain. So we will develop, we are under evaluating the market opportunity of a single bioproduct. We are developing partnership opportunity and even a territorial opportunity in other contexts, external, of course, the project region of interest. And it's and we will try to of course, it's to design the feasibility, the technical, the industrial, and the economical feasibility of each single value chain. Together with the business plan ready, when the business plan is ready, we will have a roadmap around Europe, trying to engage the financial community and try to find financial solution to the investment that, of course, industrial side needs to develop. This is a circular process. For example, we are evaluating special bonds from the industry sectors to finance this kind of project. Of course, we will not stop at the beginning of the next 2 years of project, and we are just already working on capitalize what we are doing and what are the results of EcoeFISHent. So we are working with the other initiative, mainly at local level. We are supporting, developing, raise the knowledge of circular concept, like and even participate in other EU projects like PRIMET and so on. But the main goal is to profile and enlarge the networks of stakeholders to be engaged. So we have already classified the business industry, the academia, the public administration, investment, and towards these actors, we will, of course, we will design action, communication, and apparently we will promote a business opportunity in circular sectors. So what we will have after EcoeFISHent is a BioLab, even taking advantage of other EU projects. We are investing in supporting other actors outside EcoeFISHent. We are developing other value chain outside EcoeFISHent. For example, one will be linked with the Italian Institute of Technology on new set of biofilm with IP protection. And and last but not least, thanks to we are the managing authority of the fund for a good region. We are to boosting the adoption of circular model towards our SMEs, towards our micro company located in our region. So this is because we strongly believe that the involvement of stakeholder, the private stakeholder, the company, must be started with a public boost, which will be I think the tools to start to move towards this direction, which for the company means investment, means a challenge for a new market, which is not clear defined and designed. And so this is what we are engaged, and so open for any question. Thank you.
Thank you, Pietro. Thank you for another great presentation. I think your approach also is it comes from another angle, right? We are seeing the pushing from a public authority and public entity benefiting, facilitating the upscaling of industrial solutions and facilitating the private sector to actually implement the solutions that you're bringing on board. And this is something that it will be essential. It is essential, we know, and it should bring a faster, also a more effective way of implementing the solutions that EcoeFISHent is preparing. I also took some notes because I was very interested in the fact that you will be able to replicate in a territory that is outside our union, in Kenya, for the specifics. And since you mentioned the regulatory issues that all the projects, all the European projects somehow faced during the implementation process, I was wondering, but I will leave this for another moment, how difficult it is if you have already foreseen regulatory difficulties in a country that is outside our European legislation, our European regulation. But I will keep this for our open session, questions and discussions. And I will right now give the floor to our next guest speaker, Ron Weirmister. Again, Ron, thank you for being here with us. And the floor is yours. Hubs for Circularity. I believe we cannot hear you, Ron. I think you are muted.
Okay, now you should be able to hear me.
Yes,
yeah,
now
I was thanking you, Aimee, for introducing me, and also thanking you for inviting us to this event, which, as I will also show later on in my presentation, is very important for our project and for the Hub for Circularity community of practice in general. I will tell you a bit more about the community of practice, the H4C community of practice, which we are coordinating. Briefly about who we are. P&O Group is a consultancy firm, and we are focused on grants and innovation consultancy amongst the various services we're providing to our clients throughout Europe. We're also engaging very much into ecosystem building, particularly through multiple CSAs, and one of them is the Hub for Circularity community of practice. So where did it come from? The project stems from a Horizon call, where two projects were funded, H4C Europe, which I'm representing, and H4C ECOP. And in close alignment with the Commission, we've decided that those projects would jointly work on this community of practice. So one community of practice, and in itself already creating quite a large community by the sheer number of partners in those projects, which you can see on the screen, already very diverse from industries up to research organizations, as well as consultancy organizations and organizations that are platforms to represent different communities themselves, like ICLEI, ACR+, Water Europe, which are presenting communities in a particular area, which is important for the circular economy. On top of that, we have various organizations that we already engaged from the outset. So during the proposal development phase, when we submitted our proposal to the Commission, which are not partners officially, but who are founding members of the community of practice, for instance, which I will come back later to, which have proven to be very important for our stakeholder engagement. So what do the joint projects do? Community building, and of course also a IT knowledge platform which enables the community to share knowledge, which will be found and created within the project. One of the objectives is to make sure that lots of knowledge which is available in this domain of circular economy, industrial symbiosis, and industrial urban symbiosis through the sheer amount of projects that is being funded at a European and a national level in Europe, are consolidated within this knowledge platform and come available to the community of practice, such that it doesn't get lost and there is an easy way to get access to the knowledge from multiple projects. Furthermore, the project develops a number of tools, a KPI toolkit to measure the impact of hubs for circularity on the circular economy, industrial symbiosis, and assessment tools to look at how clusters are performing in terms of boosting these objectives. So objective is to accelerate the transition to industrial symbiosis, industrial urban symbiosis, and circular economy through the Hub for Circularity concept. And the way we look at Hub for Circularity are socio-technical ecosystems that are engaging in full-scale industrial symbiosis, urban symbiosis, and circular economy in order to have an impact, right? So closing energy, resource and data loops at particularly a regional scale. So Hub for Circularity are leveraging on this concept and with the aim to become an important building block for the policy objectives aimed for in 2050. In fact, the Hub for Circularity as a concept is embedded very much into various policies of both the European Commission and the Process for Planet platform in Europe. So how do we do that? Community building is at the core of what we do. So first of all, we have been doing some stakeholder analysis, mapping regions, industries, technology providers, facilitators of clusters, and research organizations, and to assess what they were actually looking for in terms of a platform, but also activities that could help them perform their job better within the context of a Hub for Circularity. And of course, the content creation and collection deep dives into challenges through workshops and discussions, the different tools, and then eventually we'll go into assessing the various regions and clusters to see what their Hub for Circularity potential is in the context of the policy objectives that I just shared, and ending up in a roadmap to move towards a certain number of Hub for Circularity in Europe. So we're looking at a evolving ecosystem. We've been doing some analysis of where the activities that establish the basis, the fundament for Hub for Circularity are taking place, amongst others. And that's what this map is looking at, and various demonstration and pilot projects that are taking place throughout Europe. This is, of course, just a subset of activities. We're combining that with where process industries are available in Europe. So that's the map on the left side, where you hence have industrial symbiosis and circular economy potential with the involvement of the process industries, which is the core of Hub for Circularity. We're also looking at the CO2 potential reduction, which you see in the middle map, and combining that with where actions and pilots and demonstration are actually taking place. So in the end, we are coming up with a living H4C map with stakeholders, which we engage with through the various activities that we do. And already we have more than 1,000 organizations subscribed to our platform, which engages a high diversity of different types of organizations, as you could see here on the slide, from businesses and industries up to research organizations, public organizations, NGOs, etc. Important, as I said, for us have been our founding members, which are seen on this slide, clusters that are already organized to some extent in a way that you could consider H4C, hubs of circularity, meaning that there is process industries participating to those clusters. There is some sort of organization which stimulates the stakeholder engagement in those regional ecosystems. There is some sort of a plan to move towards future policy objectives in that region, contributing to the European policy objectives in terms of circular economy. There is a facilitation process to stimulate the creation of new innovative projects that contribute to these objectives. So we've been engaging with them as well as with different regions, particularly through our sister project, H4C EcoeFISHent, to engage with a large amount of organizations and attracting them to our platform. As you see, more than 1,000 registered users, which have access to quite an amount of valuable resources, which have been analyzed by our project and which give stakeholders access to relevant tools, knowledge, and also technologies, as well as information on a number of activities, funded projects that are taking place throughout Europe in this community. So how do we do stakeholder engagement? In my animated slides, which doesn't work on PDF, unfortunately, we first see the first block, so focus on that one. What we're doing in that first block is engaging the different stakeholders which are relevant for a community through a large number of workshops and events, linking to hubs circularity experts in different areas. I'll show that in a minute. We have a members database in our platform where peers can connect and search for each other. We have discussions, working groups, we do matchmaking, all focused on industrial symbiosis, innovation challenges and solutions. We, of course, offer them the access to the knowledge platform and the various tools, as I showed before, and we provide services to hubs as well as to projects. Hubs to help them assess and work on their business and governance, looking at finance and funding support, and to do open innovation scouting. And if you look at the particular projects, work is being done on training, on symbiosis and circular economy, stakeholder network support, data analysis, KPI assessment, etc. So there's a bunch of activities through the project that help stakeholders in those regional ecosystems we call Hub for Circularity to hopefully improve their efficiency and their effectiveness. So some examples of things we've been doing. Various expert groups, which you could also call mini community of practices on different topics. Water has been a very interesting topic, looking at the circularity of water. Engaging with industries in the domain of steel, metals and minerals, and have experts exchange experiences on what is critical in order to realize the circular economy, and how best practices can be shared. Same on plastics, which we've also seen previously in the presentation about circular foam, which is actually one of our projects actively participating to our workshops. Chemicals, particularly also facilitators, the facilitators that drive those hubs for circularity in our founding members initially, and now we're trying to expand that to a larger number of clusters, who play a pivotal role in making those regional ecosystems work and engage with the regional stakeholders. We're attracting the stakeholders also by sharing these experiences of these regional ecosystems, for instance, from our founding members, which can be found on our website and on our knowledge platform, such as from Norway. Christopher Pink is leading the IDA cluster in Norway, very much focused on the various Norwegian industries that are sharing their waste resources and side streams as a resource for others. Per Muller from Kallenburg, Symbiosis, with an extensive experience on how you actually create those regional ecosystems. Similar for Professor Hannes from Höchst Industrial Park, and several others. Numerous webinars, as you may know, on specific topics from, for instance, creating and accessing R&D facilities, which are essential for Hub for Circularity. Again, plastic recycling, water, but also working with various other projects like yours, in this case, Coralis, you see on the right side of the slide, bringing together experience on industrial symbiosis implementation through workshops. Important for us, and that's why I also said thank you for inviting, is to continue to create visibility of our community of practice, our platform, and you see a number of events where we have created visibility, attracting stakeholders to engage in our community. Zoom in a bit on a particular event that we organized last year, November 23, in the Netherlands, in Camelot Circular Hub, where there was a large event on transition finance with a large number of participants, where we organized, leveraging on our founding members, several workshops to engage the audience in providing feedback on different topics, such as how do you stimulate industrial symbiosis with multiple stakeholders in a value chain, or how do you engage startups, or how do you set up larger research facilities. Engaging with the audience by using analytical and digital tools, and we have been capturing the input from a large amount of audiences, which have provided input to a white paper, which we are finalizing right now and will be published through Spire to be shared with the European Commission on what kind of support would be needed to actually stimulate Hub for Circularity based on the actual input from the stakeholders through those events. And we're also organizing a number of workshops on so-called collaborative business modeling, based on a methodology developed by TNO, where you engage with stakeholders in regional ecosystems to work on a joint business model for the ecosystem, and let partners align on their joint objectives versus some policy objectives, and how each partner in the ecosystem can play a role towards those objectives. And moving towards the end, we have worked on a self-assessment tool, which allows Hubs for Circularity to actually take a look at how they're performing in terms of, and how they're organized in terms of structure, their potential, their strategy, their planning, how they're facilitating the functioning of the Hub for Circularity. And while we have tested and validated those tools already with a number of industrial parks or clusters, our plan is now to further leverage on this and support various clusters in Europe and assess their H4C potential on boosting the circular innovation and stakeholder engagement through a number of specific pillars, fundaments for the Hub for Circularity, such as business to territory plans, where you engage with the regional stakeholders, joint governments with the regional stakeholders, a facilitation process, and the process, what we call the incubation process, to create new value chain projects which contribute to these objectives. Next, last but not least, in 2 days, there's going to be another webinar organized together with the Commission and SPIRE, or Process for Planet, about exploring the sectoral H4C potential in EU regions, where we share some more examples, projects like we're doing here in this event, but also some insights of what we learned for the white paper that we're finalizing, and having a discussion with stakeholders there. So that's where my contribution ends, of course, with an appeal. Join the community if you're interested. If you have, if you're engaged in a local cluster or would like to be an H4C, don't hesitate to contact me, and we're happy to have a discussion with you on that.
Thank you, Ron. Definitely engaging final for your presentation. I was about to say the same. Please join the community, because it contains an array of important tools that are really necessary for all of us that dedicate our life to the circular economy and these projects implementations. So right now we are at the first open session for discussions and questions. Since we are running a little bit of tight with the timing, I have a couple of questions from the audience, which, by the way, I thank for sticking with us so far. And I will start with those questions. And then maybe if we have time, I will give the floor for another couple of questions directed to our projects and our guest speakers. First of all, one of the questions from the audience that I would like to answer is from Ruben de Francesco, and he is asking if we are able to if he will be later able to download our presentations for a better understanding. Ruben, I would say that we will provide soon, if we haven't yet, a link to our newsletter. Our Loops webinar comes with a newsletter, and in that newsletter, we provide a lot of information, highlights of our events, and then, of course, I will request permission to our guests if they can share part of their presentation or their presentations, and maybe we can exchange. And another question from the audience is from Cristina Gardiquiot, and she's saying that she would love to connect with the persons that are in charge of this event, so that she can engage and show their stakeholders engagement plan as well, because she's also working with that. By all means, Cristina, as I said, follow us, and we can definitely have a chat with you, and maybe we can, who knows, present your project during one of our next Loops webinar for sure. Now I will briefly ask a first question for Jana for the project Circular Foam. Jana, just to bring you back to the floor, what are the main differences that you are seeing in working with incentivizing SMEs and large companies in your regions? How do you overcome the barriers of some sticking to the profitable linear models instead of changing to our long-term circular economy goals?
Thank you for the question. It's not, maybe I can't even answer what are the main differences, but what are the common challenges, because it looks quite similar for both SMEs and large companies from my perspective in the project, at least not on the micro level, but on the larger level. So I have mostly talked about the external stakeholder engagement, but we also have a large project consortium, and we have both SMEs and large companies within the consortium, and Covestro being the large company and the lead of the project. And so, of course, you will need a stakeholder to start the process towards circularity, right? But because we're talking about a circle, not a linear line, you need to engage a lot of other actors in the system. So we have a lot of small companies that also play a role in the current chain that is supposed to be a loop in the end, and they also the small companies also play a large role as multipliers on a regional level, right? So maybe it's when seen from this perspective, they all um, face similar challenges, I think, and what we get the impression that there is a need for a stakeholder alliance that kind of gains a momentum um, to go forward in a coordinated way. So otherwise, we kind of have this. We call this the chicken and egg problem, that we wait on each other to make a move, and apart from being profitable, of course, that's the goal. And apart from raising awareness for the problem, I think there's a certain degree of trust that is needed to kind of form this alliance and to um, uh, go forward together. And what we see also, of course, is that policy frameworks and clear action plans help to have trust that there will be a security for profitability, of course. But I think there are some things that come together here that that require a stakeholder alliance in the first place.
May I contribute to that?
Yes, please, Ron. This is open, so go for it.
Because Jana, I think, mentioned an important word, trust. And trust is essential for companies in the regional ecosystems to work together. And what we see in the Hub for Circularity is that the availability of facilitators can play a very important role there, bringing organizations together as independent representatives of the ecosystem, which have the role to actually bring together these organizations and have a discussion together, and then gradually build the trust between a number of stakeholders in that ecosystem. So I just thank you, Jana, for mentioning that, because that's something we see very often, and organizing your regional ecosystems in a hub for circularity type of shape with facilitators really is a big contribution for that.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Now I will move to Pietro, and Pietro, I will try to touch another angle from today's topic, and I would like to ask you, how does EcoeFISHent project industrial symbiosis approach influence the stakeholder engagement in terms of job creation? What are the short terms or long terms impacts on employment from your perspective?
But it's from EcoeFISHent perspective, as I explained during my presentation, we are very focused on design value chain which are economically and financially sustainable. To develop new byproducts which has clear market, potential market, so which and all these indicators also sustainability. Of course, we let the company to invest not only in machinery, of course, but of course in people. So this investment will be on skills, capacity of the existing worker, because there are companies already investing in circular process, but they need to upgrade the skills of the workers. But of course, they will invest in new additional people. And with EcoeFISHent, within the value chain developed in the project, we estimate, which is not significant, but it's important to highlight. It's about 250 job created, around 19 job just along the project development, around 60 new job at the end of the project, when the value chain will be on the market. And and then we'll follow. We are sure that we will follow new job opportunity in my ecosystem, in my regional ecosystem. Don't forget the replicability of the model. So when we start to replicate the model in Galicia or in Kenya or in any other region of Europe with these specific industrial issues and in waste challenge, how to reuse, how to treat with fish mainstream. It's okay. This is the multiplicator now of the job will be very significant. So that's.
I agree. The potential of the replication of these value chains are huge, and of course it will influence the outcomes for new jobs in several of our regions. Thank you, Pietro. Thank you for your answer. I will have another question that is not an easy question for Ron, and this is: what common region-specific opportunities for the creation of business models have you encountered in promoting industrial symbiosis? Which are the factors that influence the most the scaling up of this industrial symbiosis?
Can you come again? Sorry, it's a complicated question indeed.
It is a complicated question. I will try to shorten it up a little bit. Which common region-specific opportunities you have found while during the creation of business models for the industrial symbiosis? Are common grounds that you have found by working with several different regions? Because of course each region has its own specificities, its own needs, but are there any commonalities between them that will help in the scaling up?
Yeah, I think what the commonality, of course there are some commonalities, but they're on a bit of a higher level related to maybe one of the topics that I already mentioned, trust. It's bringing organizations together. What you see very much in the different business models is that all of them require collaboration between the different stakeholders in the value chain. Very often, it is difficult to create a sustainable business model if there's not sufficient critical mass of the resources that need to be recycled, for instance, which means that you will have to align the different partners in the value chain, from, let's say, waste collection to sorting, up to the investments that are needed by the industry to actually make sure that you can use these sorted and pre-treated often materials in order to be reused. The commonality is that sometimes this is difficult because it is not easy to align all those value chain partners. I think the project that Jana was referring to probably recognizes this issue, and several others do. You really need orchestration of those value chains somehow, but there are no easily identifiable organizations that can do those orchestration within the value chain, not always. So I think that's probably one of the challenges that is common to many of those business models.
Definitely. As you said, Jana mentioned trust, and I think this is the most difficult achievement that we all aim to have, because once is gained, then the road should be smoother, right? For in the implementation of our solutions. I do have, Ron, for you another question from the audience, and I think you kind of answered already.
Is it easier than the previous one?
It is easier. It's definitely easier. And that would be from Clara Berend, who's asking, who are these facilitators you have mentioned? Are they clusters, consultants, public actors? Who are they?
Yeah,
I think she answered
good question.
herself.
Thank you, Clara. They're very different in each region. They can be consultants which have been engaged, for instance, by the regional authority or the regional development organization to facilitate the bringing together of those the various partners in the value chain to create industrial symbiosis across circular economy. It can be regional development organizations themselves, like Pietro is I think representing in the Liguria region. That's a good example where you see that the regional development agency plays somehow a facilitating role. It can be an organization which is set up ad hoc, particularly to stimulate the linkages of those stakeholders. You see in, for instance, Kalundborg in Denmark, that was a department of the city of Kalundborg, which was stimulating industrial symbiosis in their industrial ecosystem, and they have been spun out as a dedicated organization to play this role. So they have been set up on purpose to actually play that role. Yeah. So we've also seen combinations of owners of industrial parks, so the ones that have to exploit the ground on which industrial parks are built. They have to exploit, and they often manage also the energy flows within those systems, together with research institutes that jointly look into the opportunities for the circular economy. So you see a whole range of setups which form those facilitators.
Thank you, Brown, for providing this question. Okay, so I would say I would love to continue because, as you see, the discussions are very, very interesting. But I need to go back to the second part of our episode today. So I will leave the floor to our third project, Circular, and for this I give the floor to Aram Blanco. Aram, the floor is all yours. We are waiting for Aram. Yes?
I see my presentation now. Okay, now I see me myself. Thank you very much, Aimee, and thank you very much, Martin, for inviting us to this webinar, to this very interesting webinar. And in this case, I will present the case of Agro2Circular, which is one of the projects that is being in the loops cluster. And this Agro2Circular is particularly focused on the agro-food sector, trying to implement in one of the regions of Spain, because this is an innovation action, a circular value chain for the agro-food sector. And what I am doing from the part of Caveloce is designing and collaborating both with the public engagement strategy, but also with the social impact of the project. You can go further. Next slide. So as I have seen, Agro2Circular is a innovation action. This is a very huge project because this is formed by a consortium of 41 partners all around Europe. But it is focused on the implementation at regional level in the region of Murcia, which is the one you have on the right. From this huge consortium, 16 partners are in the region of Murcia trying to implement this circular economy value chain at the regional level. Our coordinator, who is CETEC, but you will see also this National Technological Center for Canned Industry. You will see some business in the food industry, such as Almond, Citromil, Marin Montejano. We also have the public administrations and foundations. In total, the project has more than 16 million euros, from which 14 million euro are from the European Commission. You can go for the following slide. So why do we need the public participation in Agro2Circular? Because we need to incorporate different perspectives to address different interests. It is not the same interest that the public society has or public administration. The business also have a different interests and different point of views, and also public administration or research entities. We also need to co-create sustainable solutions that meet the needs of all these stakeholders, and we have to foster trust and innovation. We have already spoken about this needed trust and innovation of the companies along the value chains, but also the people who is going to buy the developed solutions, or the public administrations, or the entities that are going to adopt the solutions provided by our projects. And indeed, this is all the overall objective is to maximize the project impact and to facilitate the replication and the scalability of the Agro2Circular systemic solution. You can go further. Thank you. So what we do in public participation in Agro2Circular is to engage the four or better said, the quintuple helix of innovation as defined by Karajanis in 2012. And you can see here, as we have mentioned before, that every or each of the actors or stakeholders have different interests, but also different roles. These roles are defined recently in the CCRI methodology. For instance, the public administration, from which in Agro2Circular project we have the region of Murcia, the Regional Ministry for Agriculture, and the Regional Development Agency as partners, is the definition of the ambitions, the definition of regulation, policies, to evaluate the feasibility and to manage the data between the different sectors. In the case of the industry, we also have, as mentioned before, we have the canned industries such as citro mill. We have waste management companies such as GVC, Green World Compounding, and we have plastic producers such as Eversia. What are the role to implement this circular industrial symbiosis that Ron has perfectly defined before? To provide data between the processes and for business models, and to identify the generation of streams that can be incorporated to the industrial symbiosis. In the case of the research and education, we have a lot of entities from universities to technological centers, but they can support impact assessment. They can provide also expertise on the processes and the technologies and systems that are to be used in the value chains and the solutions to be developed in the projects. And finally, but not last, the civil society that has to adopt the circular economy innovation and the products that are developed. For instance, in Agro2Circular, we are developing cosmetics and nutraceuticals that are obtained from upcycled agro-food waste from different products, artichoke, cauliflower, lemon, grape, with an apple. And with this kind of agro-food waste, we are trying to develop different kind of products, but also mulching plastics that are used in the agriculture, because there are a lot of plastics in the region of Murcia that are not biodegradable and sustainable, and they remain in our soils for a long time. So also the civil society is quite important, because they are the ones posing the sustainability demands that we have to achieve in the projects and in the industry. You can go to the next one. And how do we do this? Indeed, what we do is to implement the 5 levels of public engagement during the project, following this model of public participation toolkit proposed by the AAP2. As you know, it has different levels, from the inform level, which is unidirectional, to the empower level, which is the highest level of public engagement. And none of these levels is better or worse in itself. It depends on the activities that you are going to implement and your objective, that one level can be better suitable or less suitable to your objective or to your activity. You can go further, please. Okay, thank you. So I will give a short overview of the different activities we are doing in Agro2Circular. Of course, we have Inform, we are implementing a lot of seminars, like here now, for instance, seminars, webinars, presentation, and we are also participating in science weeks, trying to engage different actors from the school to industry and to raise awareness on the importance on circular economy. This is, as we have said, like a one-way channel, because we provide information, but the public is only informed, they are or educated, but they are not, they do not provide, they do not keep any decision power on what is done. The following level will be the consult level, in which the public is engaged in at certain points of the level to provide feedback, for instance in surveys or interviews, in this case, or the impact evaluation also. In this case, in Agro2Circular, we have count with the consult level with different stakeholders, with industry, and also we are doing with schools, teachers that are participating in the activities through surveys to design training materials to check what is the most preferred format for them, for the materials that we are going to develop at the end of the project. Next one, please. In the involved level, we could frame the most important public engagement activities in the project, which are focus groups, a video game contest that we have already made or held 2 editions in the 2 last years, in which some students from school, from primary and secondary schools in the region of Murcia, are taught about how to design a video game and how to implement circular economy. And at the end of the contest, they have to present a circular economy video game. And it's really amazing, because I have been a jury myself on this contest. And it is really amazing how the young people are incorporating circular economy, and how amazing video games they made to try to like engage their peers, their school partners in circular economy. And also we are also developing an activity at the Alhama City Market, which is a street market in which all kind of products are sold, among them fruits and vegetables. What we have done in Agro2Circular is to bring a booth every 2 weeks to the market of Alhama de Murcia, thanks to the collaboration of the public administration there, the city council, and the local development agency in Alhama de Murcia. We have been in contact with the vendors at the market, and the vendors at the market, what they did is they had small collectors, small containers, in which they will leave some of the products, like apple waste and peels, lemon peels, all these fruits that were not suitable for selling, because the aspect is not good at the end of the day of the market. They have left all this material in the containers, separated containers for each kind of product, and they were sent later to the National Technological Food Center, from which they were going to obtain to extract the compounds to produce nutraceuticals or cosmetics or plastics, as we are doing in the project. A part of this collection of waste, what we have made in the market is awareness raising campaigns. We have made contests with the vendors too, in which the vendors provided food that was like the price, and the people was answering a quiz about circular economy, and then the winner of the quiz or the contest was awarded 20 kilos of fruit in the market. And the final level of collaboration or engagement in Agro2Circular is the level of collaboration, and this entails the advisory board. We have two advisory boards, one at the regional level and one at the EU level. And with this advisory board, what we have done is to co-create through workshops a multidimensional circular model and self-assessment tool, which is now having the last steps with the EU advisory board, and this means stakeholders in different countries of the European Union, is to validate this multidimensional circular model to ensure that it was also suitable for other regions, not only for the region of Murcia, which has a strong focus on agriculture, but also to other regions. And these are all the levels. You will maybe note that the empower level that I was mentioning before is not in this slide, but this is because that at the end, the empower level comes from facilitating the context to implement the circular economy, like educating the people, like providing more assessment, creating this kind of models, assessing the social impact. And that's why the empower level is like a higher level, because it should be like the highest decision in which the people could have the power of decision. But this was a little bit out of the scope, and it's considered as facilitated by the project. Next slide, please. And finally, a short summary of what have we learned here during the project, that there is a need of continuous and intense collaboration among all the stakeholders of this quintuple helix of innovation, that the public administration play a key role, because they are developing the regulation, they are developing waste management infrastructure. For instance, this reverse logistic infrastructure that is needed to collect the separated waste to develop all these synergies and all these value chains has to be facilitated by the waste regulation in each region, and that is to be done by the public administration. There is also a need if we want to implement this circular economy, for waste and byproduct markets, that they are not considered anymore a waste, but they are considered like a secondary raw material, with all the warranties and the regulations that are required, so the companies can buy and sell these kind of products or byproduct and waste that can be used in other industries. And we have also found difficulties reaching some groups, for example, the market vendors, because of the language barriers and the digital gap, and initially the resistance to new solutions, because they were saying that, okay, we are giving all the feedstock all these waste that we have at the end of the day, we are giving that to our livestock, to our sheep or pigs that we have here. Why should we participate in the project and give you this feedstock? Because this is, I am already doing the circular economy if I give that to my livestock as feed, and to combine them, that the products that we were producing were high value products, not only like feed for livestock. It was very, very hard. also the logistic was also hard to implement. On the other side, we have to say that the local communities are very aware of the need of circular economy, and sometimes they have innovative ideas for implementation. And also in this sense, also it is related to the support of the local community leaders. The local development agency in Alhama de Murcia has provided with lots of ideas and lots of help to make seminars, and they were quite convinced of the need of implementing this. They were participating in a lot of activities, and they can play magic in the implementation of circular economy. And as a summary, there is a trade-off, because the higher level of engagement you go, so collaboration, empowerment, the efforts in terms of time on resources to be put in force are very consuming. It's a lot of time to get the trust of the people, but also on the other side, it provides the stakeholder a more sense of belonging, because they have co-created that the solutions that they are created, they are suitable for them, and they answer to their needs. So you will get more trust and more acceptance of the solutions provided. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much, and I keep at disposal. Sorry, I can put the email here because it seems good. For anybody that needs to contact us.
Thank you, Eran. Thank you again. Indeed, I think your conclusion to your presentation provided already very key aspect of the engagement of citizens. The fact that you need to gain trust, also as we mentioned, for the industrial and private sectors stakeholders, and for that you need to dedicate. You have to give more in order to gain their trust, but at the end it will pay off. And all these initiatives and the fact that you are co-creating with the final end user will pay off and accelerate the implementation of all the systemic solutions that our projects are developing. Thank you, Aran, again. I will now move forward with the next presentation, and is the project Friendship. I will give the floor to my colleague, Agnieszka Laskowska. We know each other. We are partners in the same project, Friendship. So, Agnieszka, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Amy, and hello, everyone. My name is Agnieszka, and I represent Opus Center, that is an NGO, an association, and at the same time I represent Friendship Project, and I would like to tell you a little bit more about our role in the project in terms of citizens' engagement. First of all, I will start with introduction of our association, because NGOs are not a typical actor in Horizon projects. We exist 25 years now. We were established in 1999, and with the mission to activate citizens, to help NGOs, so foundations, associations, to help people to create their initiatives. Informal with the citizens or formal with other organizations. We are also and social economy support center in our region in central Poland. So we develop social entrepreneurship, and we also work closely with local authorities to actually foster the development of the third sector, as we call, so NGOs and also social entrepreneurship. And just a few words about Friendship Project. I believe that Some of you surely have heard about FRONTSH1P. It's a full name, as you can see here on the slide, is a front-turn approach to systemic, circular, holistic, and inclusive solutions for a new paradigm of territorial circular economy. It's one of the biggest projects, for sure, the biggest in terms of number of Polish partners involved. Because it's many partners from central Poland, from Lodz region, but also many partners from other European countries. We are 35 partners altogether. So that's quite a big number. So in the project develops technologies of 4 types of waste. That is wood, organic waste, water, and plastics. And as I said, it's focused on Lodz voivodeship, so central Poland, and it aims to drive a green and just transition to the region. Within FRONTSH1P, I have to say that we have actually 1 more year to go in the project. So it's been already some time that we are working over those solutions. And in the project, we want to create a shift towards, of course, circular economy and foster sustainability, decarbonization, and also social inclusion. And this is the part that Opus Center is the most interested in and tries to develop some solutions here. So I would like to tell you a little bit more about how we try to involve citizens in various initiatives that are being created within FRONTSH1P. It's quite a challenging task because we are not a technical partner, so we are typical NGO social with a social perspective. So what we came up with is that actually citizens' engagement in the circular economy would mean the conscious participation of citizens, and by citizens we mostly mean households. So this is, let's say, kind of so-called entity that we distinguish. So households, indirect actions. So those direct actions you would see here in the slide on the left side. It's like a typical 6R, but within FRONTSH1P more R's pyramid. So different actions, direct actions that citizens can participate in. So like recycling, repairing, recovering, sharing, of course, and so on. But this is not enough. So what is also needed for this transition are the supportive actions. And the supportive actions are the ones that come from local authorities, from business, from also from NGOs. So what is also needed is, of course, knowledge and education of citizens, but also regulatory processes. So a law that is actually creating an environment for possible change, and of course different activities that can be let's say, that activities that encourage citizens, that make citizens possible to act for the benefit of circular economy. And I will explain a little bit more about that in the next slides. So, of course, this is our base. So the actions that this is something that we know, being in a circular economy project. But this is something that, in a very approachable way, we also try to make familiar to our citizens, right? So a friendly lifestyle, environmentally friendly lifestyle, and this 6R graphic presentation is helping us to make it easier for the citizens to understand what we are aiming for. And in our thinking of involvement of citizens into circular economy, because what I have to mention is also that we are more of people that do things in practice, and in the project we needed to put our thinking of different topics into models. So this was quite challenging, and we based our we based this model of citizens' engagement into circular economy on the well-known participation ladder that was developed in 70s by Sherry Arnstein, and of course we changed it a little bit, and well, and this is also something that was mentioned in the previous presentation in the Agro2Circular project. I can see similarities in this thinking, but in our model, the information that is the base is something that local authorities, they only inform citizens. Okay, so this can be campaigns, this can be different media activities. Then we go up in the ladder and we have educational activities. So the engagement is, it's more engagement, but it's still education. And then consultation, this is where the real engagement starts. And then we have the inclusion, that is the highest one. So let me present to you briefly what can happen on every level of this a ladder. So in the information, what we did in FRONTSH1P, of course, different activities in media, especially in social media. We are also aiming for activities in the traditional media, information campaigns, right? Study visits or applications. So we either developed something new, or we based our activities on something that already existed within the community, because it's also like this application, for example. So we are testing many of our activities in Parzęczew, that is a very small city in Lockie region, that is also a partner in the FRONTSH1P project. And in this community, the application eco schedule to be translated already existed. However, it didn't have it, so you could check there when they come to take your waste, and you could check very basic information about waste collection. However, we developed the application with, we proposed to add the circular economy module to this module, to this application. Like this, citizens can use still the same application, but it's upgraded and they don't need to download a new one. So, things like that to inform citizens. Then on the educational level, we mostly conducted workshops. So it was workshops for different groups. It was for youth and children in the schools, but it was also for local leaders, for animators, for NGOs, and for local government units. So different groups of different target groups for the educational activities. And also our partners in the project, that is Bzura, they also made quite nice let's say possibilities for the citizens to be involved in this educational part, that is, for example, competitions. So this is quite engaging. And in the FRONTSH1P project, there's also what is being developed is an e-learning platform. This will be also an educational material for all the citizens to use. In the consultation part, so consultation happens when we actually are thinking seriously to involve citizens in consulting processes. For example, local authority can organize a consultation process. So first of all, as you can see here in the slide, local authority informs and educates citizens about the fact that consultation will happen. Of course, yes, citizens quite often, they may not know what is circular economy. So that's why the informing and educating part is very important. Then there is, of course, the process of implementation of the consultations, reporting on the results, assessment of conclusions, and then what is the best, of course, is if the implementation of those ideas is being introduced, or it can be also taken to the next consultation process. But what we want to achieve is to have an implementation decision. So this kind of consultation model that we as Opus Center are helping local authorities to conduct in our region, we would like to also conduct it within the FRONTSH1P project. And this is one of the methods that we propose. And the highest level of the participation ladder is inclusion. Here, through different let's say tools, we can include citizens to the point that they are actually creating with us the initiative. They are creating with us the change. So we not only inform them, we don't educate them, we don't consult with them, but we actually fully engage them to create something together. And a very nice example of this kind of initiative I would like to show to you is, let me see here what I have next. Okay. Yes, one of the examples that is actually the highest inclusion that we think is a very good is a local microgrant program. Sorry for jumping, but this should be first. So in the local microgrant program that we propose within FRONTSH1P, and in general what we do here in our region, is the involvement of citizens by granting them a small amount of money. In our case, it's 5,000 zloty. So it's around 1,000 euro that can be granted to informal group of citizens. And thanks to that, they can take up an initiative that would be, in this case, connected with circularity, with circular economy in their even neighborhood. So this is something that gives a lot of empowerment to the citizens. Another example is local currency. And local currency is a system that we want to show, where we want to show in practice the life of raw materials. And in this case, it is organic waste in case of our project. So in Parzęczew, that I mentioned, we have a biogas demonstration installation, and we engaged a school, a primary school in Parzęczew, where we created a system that uses inventory currency to foster pro-ecological behaviors among students. Right, so we foster positive behaviors in the class. There is some competition. There are the coins. At the end of semester, we collect the coins, and who gathered the biggest amount can be awarded some kind of study visit or a school trip. And the last thing I would like to show to you is a social enterprise model. This is something that we devoted a lot of attention and work to, because it's a very new topic in the social economy sector. What we discovered is that the success of the circular social enterprise actually depends on 3 factors that you can see here. And it is a social economy support centers. We are one of the social economy support centers, but I believe that, in Poland there is one in each region, so maybe it's the same in other countries as well. So this is a very important one. Then the second, similarly important, I mean, this is on the same level, definitely. It's local authorities. We need them to actually make this shift. And the last one is business partners. So all those 3 partners are very important to actually make social enterprises aware of the possible introduction of circular models. So yes, and the financial support is needed from the local government or business to actually make this change. So this is what we discovered. So I think I have to stop here because of the time. So thank you very much, and please contact us if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Anexia. Sorry to rush you at the end. The time is still, yes, is indeed clicking. And we will for sure share with the audience, again, through the newsletter, all the contact information so that all the participants and our audience can reach out to you if they have further questions. We will have a very quick open session at the end with all our guests. But now I would like to welcome again Jan Winarski with the CCRI CSO office. Sorry for keeping you long, Jan, but the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the initiative to the Loop cluster. All the Loop projects, they're part of the CCRI, or part of the Circular Cities and Regions initiative as CCRI projects. There's other CCRI projects which I will be showing to you in my slides, and I will start with a short introduction of what the Circular Cities and Regions initiative is, for those that have not heard about it yet. So the CCRI, as the House for Circularity, is a initiative that was launched by the European Commission, by the same DG Research and Innovation. It was launched as part of the EU Circular Economy Action Plan 2020. And importantly, it's contributing to the policy objectives of both the EU Green Deal and the EU Bioeconomy Strategy. And it is supported by the Research Innovation Funding Program of the EU, both Horizon 2020, the Loops project, and then there's also various Horizon Europe projects that are contributing to the initiative. In the CCRI, we chose the regional and the local level as the best level, as it is the closest governance level to Europe's citizens, and this is very much linked to what we have heard today of the projects and also the hubs for circularity working also at this level. As it can be seen as a laboratory, and it is an ecosystem gathering various stakeholders that of whom we are also talking today, given the topic of stakeholder engagement, and to gather these stakeholders and to engage those stakeholders, that's obviously also very important to the CCRI. And given that the local level is the best level to for the circular economy, this is why the CCRI is looking at this level to drive the change for a circular economy. So the focus of the CCRI is the implementation of circular systemic solutions, and we have already heard about those solutions in the projects that have been spoken. Also focusing on the demonstration of circular systemic solutions, and working very closely with local and regional authorities. We are not only a supporting scheme, but also a collaboration scheme, and the idea is, or what we are doing in practice is that we gather projects, initiatives, cities, regions, territorial clusters together, so that they exchange on the implementation of circular systemic solutions. They to share knowledge, to share experiences, so that this transition to the circular economy is a well-informed one, with the solutions from all over Europe. yeah, I'm representing today the CCRI Coordination Support Office, who is in charge of the coordination and the support. And then the Commission is financially supporting demonstration projects and project development assistance projects, which are focusing on financing circular projects and advisory services for the financing of circular projects. Here you can see the cities and regions at the core, and this support scheme is showing the different actors that I've already mentioned, the CCRI Coordination Support Office, the CCRI projects, working on technical support, knowledge gathering, dissemination for the implementation of systemic solutions at the level of cities and regions. The European Commission is funding all of these activities, they are behind the initiative. And then we also have a number of associated partners who are also contributing to the initiative. For instance, the OECD and the European Investment Bank. They are associated partners of the CCRI. One way how all of these partners meet are through thematic working groups. Those were created on a needs assessment. They meet approximately 3 times a year, and they aim to share knowledge, experience, best practices, and concrete solutions. Circular systemic solutions facilitate enhance peer learning between actors and function as laboratories and facilitates synergies. CCRI cities and regions, CCRI projects and associate partners, they're all part of those thematic working groups. You can see those thematic working group listed here: circular construction and building, circular resource management, circular bioeconomy, and circular industries and industrial symbiosis. Just to show you quickly who are part of the CCRI, we have so-called pilots and fellows. Those are cities, regions, territorial clusters that are either part of the initiative as pilots. So they receive direct support from the CCRI, and fellows that they get group support, so they are also part of the thematic working groups. And if we add all the cities and regions that are also supported by the CCRI project, then we talk about 115 or over 115 cities and regions that are part of the initiative. And that are getting support by CCRI associated actors, be it the CCRI Coordination Support Office or CCRI projects. The CCRI office, though this is conducted not only of the CCRI Coordination Support Office, but this support has been extended, and it's being complemented by the CCRI Knowledge Hub, who work on consolidating and expanding the knowledge base that's already available for the CCRI community, and the CCRI Communities of Practice, which the CCRI Knowledge Hub started in December of last year, and the Communities of Practice, they started in July this year. So it's wrong that in the slides it said they have not started yet, because they have already started, and they will focus on bringing CCRI stakeholders and cities and regions together in communities of practices to strengthen their capacity in the circular transition. Here you can see a number of CCRI projects, and we are very interested in and they are doing this, that they're sharing their preliminary results with us, with the Coordination Support Office, so that we can use those results for the thematic working groups for our work and find the synergies between those projects. You can see, the loop projects listed here. Then you can see various Horizon Europe projects focusing on demonstrating various value chains, some are focusing in particular on circular buildings, others on households or governance. And then on the right side, you can also see the project development assistance, which are the projects focusing on advisory services for funding circular projects. So in terms of the activities that we do, this is maybe the one of the most interesting slides, because they are also directly linked to what has been mentioned by the previous speakers. We also have a self-assessment tool that is not focused on the hubs for circularity, but for cities and regions to use for their circular systemic solutions. And of course, it also includes indicators for stakeholder engagement. The methodology has already been mentioned by Aran Blanco from Agro2Circular. And there's also, of course, a chapter on stakeholder engagement. And importantly, on that methodology, that we see circular systemic solutions as a circular process. So stakeholder engagement, as soon as you have implemented your circular systemic solutions, you have to go back to the mapping of the of your stakeholders, because it's really a circular process where you have to go back and look at if you actually have engaged the right stakeholders, or if you're missing someone. I won't go too much into detail on all the support that we offer, but you can see that it's quite a lot, and it's also a growing number of offers that the CCRI can offer to cities and regions who are at the core of the initiative. We have tailored advisory support, customized support, and group support. So there's some more personalized advisory support, and some group support where peer learning is very important. And stakeholder engagement, of course, is also a topic that is being discussed in the thematic working groups. I'm showing you some success stories from CCRI pilots, and you can see the different circular systemic solutions that the pilots are focusing on. For some, for instance, the ones that work on governance or working with public and private stakeholders, for those, the stakeholder engagement is a very, very important aspect, and there we also providing support. And also we are very interested in, and it was very nice to see the findings from the projects that have already been presented, because this information and this knowledge is also very important for this initiative overall, to gather this knowledge and share this knowledge. You can see some more success stories. I won't go too much into detail of those, but for instance, in here also in Helsinki, Uusimaa, you can see that the stakeholder engagement is at the core of the systemic solution that they're implementing. I want to close with saying what the initiative makes unique. My presentation was not too much on the stakeholder engagement, as we're not working on a specific project, but we are rather gathering the knowledge and work in the support towards circular systemic solutions. And stakeholder engagement, of course, it's an important element of that. The CCRI is not yet another initiative, but it is an experimental one that uses the traditional funding in an innovative way. We are connecting a network of knowledge and support providers. Importantly, the CCR projects, such as the Loops projects, who are important contributors to the initiative. There's a growing community. There's more and more cities and regions being supported and benefiting from the initiative, as demand for support in circular economy is very high, and we can see that more and more cities are getting interested in the CCRI and want to benefit from the support that the CCRI provides, the growing support that the CCRI supports, which is also the fifth point here. And maybe to close, the systemic approach and the solution focus is really what we see at the core. So we're not looking at just at one sector, one actor, but we're looking at various actors, various sectors. The systemic approach in providing local circular solutions across sectors and value chains. So I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and we can go to the questions now, I think.
Okay, yes, no, yes, here we are. So I was thanking Jan for a few seconds. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for taking the time to explain another important and pivotal support scheme, and not only that will for sure elaborate and create and enlarge our ecosystems for making possible our work. So I will briefly, I had a few questions because again, this has been a very active and interesting session, but I will, first of all, I would yeah, I see Ron is leaving us. Of course, it's been longer than expected. Ron, not a problem at all. I thank you for being here, for sticking with us until the end. I will reach out to you personally because I'm very interested in further collaboration if you agree. So thank you again for participating.
Certainly.
Thank you. And for the rest of you, I will just have a couple of questions from the audience. I will leave aside my personal questions, but maybe we can have the opportunity again to exchange in another occasion. And very quickly, let me just grab the couple of questions. One is from Yark Kovchev. I hope I said it correctly. And it's not specifically for a project, it's in general. How do you ensure that the people you engage with as part of the public engagement have the right prerequisite for actually contributing to your project? I think it's a difficult question, but at the end is why we are here for. Is there anyone that wants to take the lead to answer this question? Yes, no?
Okay. Hello. If nobody takes the lead, I will take it.
Please, Aran. Thank you.
Well, how we ensure that we are mapping correctly? Indeed, there is a tool, maybe the CCRI, that is a methodology for engagement. And one of the things that they provide is like some instructions to do that part. The first step is that when we start, we have to map the stakeholders we have in a region or whatever, in where we want to implement our project, maybe the local level, the regional level, EU level. The first step is to map the stakeholders we have in each of the dimensions. I mean, in industry, research, public, civil society, public administration, and we have also to like map in which kind of level we have or we want to engage them. What will be the level of interest and what will be the level of decision? Because maybe the civil society is quite interested, but they don't have a high level of decision. Or maybe on the contrary, the public administration have a high level of decision, but the interest is lower. So we have to map. I would recommend to go to the CCRI website, in which you will find a lot of materials on this part. And also last week we held a meeting on that, and you have a lot of materials at CCRI Knowledge Hub website.
Thank you, Aran, for answering
I don't know
the question.
can explain more.
I think you nailed it. We have tools, and the tools provided by CCRI is an important one to follow. Unfortunately, I have to wrap up. I would keep it longer, but it's already too long, and I'm pretty sure all of our partners have other things to attend. I will take again the occasion to thank you for staying with us. And just a quick reminder, one from Ron, before he left, he did make a call of action. Please join the community of hubs for circularity. So I'm just advising everyone that is interested to join the community. The same for CCRI. I hope that there is a way for us to access to all these tools and on this network that the CCRI office provides. From my side, again, thank you for joining. Make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter, because we will provide a lot of information and hopefully answer some of the questions that we couldn't answer during the live transmission for our audience. So if you're interested in knowing the highlights of today's episode and also some of the questions left behind, please join the newsletter and stick with us also to be informed for our next episodes. Again, thank you very much to our guest speakers for being here, and I wish you a very nice rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, and thank you to the audience also
Thank you.
as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Nice day
Bye-bye.
to all of you.
Nice day.